You know what was a good movie? Sinners. And although the movie came out some months ago, it still permeates deep in my mind. With the critical acclaim that Sinner continues to garner, I'm excited for more media that takes a deep dive into the similar themes and concepts within black culture in a creative and engaging way. And this film was released during a time of pure media nonsense. We're talking about 20v1s, Popeye's Don Julio collabs, and with these quote unquote trends, there's a conspiracy that there has been numerous government psyops, which means psychological operations, used to keep down the black people. And as one of those people, I feel like I have a say in the matter. Whether it's Ronald Reagan on the crack epidemic of the 80s or whatever this is, it seems to always be an active assignment from the division of disenfranchising Negroes. But there's a gap in the DDN's operation portfolio that is often overlooked, and I consider it to be the department's greatest psyop ever. In the early to mid 2000s, a new government ploy would emerge. Tyler Perry films.
Nah, you got my son want me here. I ain't going nowhere.
What are you doing?
What you say about you staying here?
And I mentioned Sinners earlier because the Tyler Perry movies had the exact opposite effect of what I mentioned earlier. So for you all to truly understand the ramifications of these pieces of media, I need to present my case. And since everything nowadays has to be explicitly stated, this video is meant to be a comedic retrospective and not political. But as they say, every joke has a little bit of truth. Anyways, let us take a deep dive into the sheer buffoonery that is Tyler Perry's discography. Tyler Perry is an American filmmaker, and that's really all you need to know about him. I don't know, look it up on Google if you want more details. But it's the type of films Mr. Perry makes. You see, his style, if you can call it that, has a very distinct template. It's either a movie about A, a black woman who seemingly has the world on her shoulders, and her attitude reflects that. B, the below standard black man who is cartoonishly evil. Or C, an amalgamation of both. And this is just 3 examples. We could get to the ratchet baby mama, the good black man who's down on his luck, the dysfunctional black family. Any typecast of black people you can think of, he's made a movie about it. Just to clarify, films about plight, especially regarding race, creed, or any similar subject, is not a foreign concept. A good movie about plight shows the struggle and how those struggles shape the characters in the narrative and convey a meaningful theme with the story. While in comparison, these films don't feel like they have any meaning at all. Instead, they just show constant suffering and feel like parodies of the most stereotypical black tropes. And we know how media shapes public perception, which leads to his productions feeling more like propaganda rather than a medium for entertainment. He's even gone on record to state that he's obligated to make movies like this. All your movies have to be about the same thing? And who bestowed you this obligation? Well, allow me to state that Tyler Perry is in fact a CIA agent who was sent to Hollywood to create modern-day minstrel shows to further subjugate my people. So, to substantiate my position, I took the liberty in watching these films to describe to you all the terror that's within them. And I would say spoiler warning, but if you actually intend to watch these films, you need to be apprehended. Starting with the least offensive film in the whole group, we have one of Tyler Perry's most renowned productions. Admittedly, this is an okay watch. What I mean is that this one is tame with the propaganda, but you get a sprinkle here and there. Long story short, a group of married individuals go on a couples retreat where they found out their marriages are actually shit. They then return to their everyday lives with the newfound knowledge that their marriages are indeed shit. And to add some extra flavor to the mix, this is also a Christmas movie that a lot of people I know watch during the holidays. And this just shows how deep this operation was, because we're out here watching Why Did I Get Married? A movie in this title alone bashes the nuclear family for black people instead of watching, I don't know, Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. And to its credit, because it's not going to get any more credit for the rest of the video, I see what Tyler Perry was going for with this film. It's about marriage and how marriage can have a multitude of issues. And we see how our characters within the movie handles these problems and see if their marriage can stand the test of time with those issues. Pretty simple concept, not too offensive. Plus, this movie only has like one of the caricatures mentioned earlier. So this one is satisfactory, which is generous, but let's talk about the real atrocities. First, we'll take a look at a movie about a single father taking care of his 3 kids, along with his obnoxiously loud baby mama.
Let me tell you something, Rita. All right, these are my kids. Do you hear me? You ain't just gonna take them from me.
Yeah, Tyler Perry has some of these actors on retainer, so you'll see a lot of reoccurring characters. Well, the BM's BF is a drug lord who abuses our main character's children, so he seeks out a lawyer to help get custody of his kids. And this lawyer is the typical successful but lonely single woman character, and they start to like each other. But his new fling and chances of getting custody of his kids fall apart when it's revealed that our protagonist was a star athlete that was convicted of
Grapes.
by a white woman. Yeah, it goes there. Just from this synopsis alone, we hit like 5 tropes, and that was just half of the movie. Next, we could talk about a movie about a lady taking in a group of looter children, but she herself is an alcoholic that sings at a dive bar while living with a married man with kids. Plot twist, he's also a
PDF file.
so the lady attempts to kill this guy with a toaster. Or we could talk about the movie, which is actually one of the funniest for all the wrong reasons. This movie follows a public defender who is trying to help a sweet old lady beat a murder charge. Well, why does she have a murder charge? Well, she married this random guy whose plan all along was to steal her identity, steal her money, and make her look bad at her job. He essentially devised a whole scheme just to be a bum. So, as stated previously, she
Unalize him.
and our sympathetic public defender makes it her duty to beat this case. But the bum himself and the mother of the bum haunts the public defender for even taking on the case. With no exaggeration at all, this movie devolves from a drama to a pseudo horror film. It is truly very bizarre content. After the brief explanation of only 3 of his movies, I hope you can understand that these movies have the exact same objective, which is to seemingly portray black folks in the worst possible way. Even the titles of his movies are just so odd. The Single Mothers Club, I Can Do Bad All By Myself, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Like, is this not obvious to anyone else? Just ask yourself this. What is the purpose of these movies? The first thing you may say is, well, entertainment. But these movies aren't entertainment. If anything, these movies are only entertaining in the fact that they are unintentionally absurdist comedies. And me personally, I just watched them out of the circumstance, and even then, only like one movie a little bit, all the others are just nauseating. So the next possible answer is, well, it provides insight to black trauma, and it gives people enlightenment about what we go through. But again, no, majority of his movies are about black people going through problems, yes. But these movies are not telling you anything insightful or meaningful. The movie often pretends that it has something insightful or meaningful to say, but whatever it tells you should be something that you should already know, like adultery, abuse, being a liar is a no-no, or it's just something that's just so absurd that it can be fathomable in real life. So contrary to what impact these movies masquerade to have in Fantasyland, in reality, they display the most cartoonishly preposterous depiction of the black community, which causes people outside of the black community to view us as such. It'll be passable if this was like only a handful of his movies, but it's all he makes. And he thinks it's some sort of act of philanthropy and he's helping the cause. Like, buddy, we know who you're helping. But I have one final piece of evidence to present which should allow you to see the truth. This alone should expose the Tyler Perry films as a government ploy against African Americans. The idea, the concept, and the character of Medea. The utter thought of a character like this is so demented that I can only imagine that the CIA had a conversation with Tyler Perry that had to go something like, okay, Tyler, we need something more devastating to the black community. Plus, fucking syrup sales are down, so we need you to create this entity that embodies a mammy caricature from slavery. But you have to play this role because, you know, remember, the government can't let you freely disenfranchise its citizens and make billions off it without publicly demeaning yourself first. If the entity of Medea was like a one-off joke or a less frequent gag character, then alright, sure. But the constant push that Medea gets is a little too intentional. And you know I'm not lying when Boondocks created an episode about Tyler Perry on this very same subject, and he wanted that episode nuked. I wonder why. But for some reason, there are so many movies about Medea. How? This government plant cannot be that much of a draw. This is a funded operation to destroy the perception of my people. Medea's family reunion, Medea's homecoming, Medea's family funeral, Medea goes to jail, Medea witness protection, Medea a Halloween story? Dog, she has her own cinematic universe. It even plays. Dead serious, they have Tyler Perry propaganda playing in the same venues that displays productions like Shakespeare, The Lion King, and Hamilton. Sorry, not sorry, but this character having live stage adaptations is just too ridiculous. I rest my case. It does seem that Tyler Perry's government contract may have expired, and the CA is looking to tie up some loose ends, if you know what I mean. But who knows, he could get his contract renewed or something. But that's all I can say before I get silenced. I hope you all were enlightened. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you disliked, tell me why. As always, Jesus loves you all. See y'all in the next vid. I'm out.